Welcome back. It's good to know that you are there. I earlier told you that in that report, on HYPREP. HYPREP, they are the body that is in charge of the cleanup of the Ogoni land. And from issues that, information that we gathered, there has been some issues surrounding the slow pace and monetary issues concerning that project. Is it actually, visible, or are there issues surrounding it? And the person that is here to tell us that is the coordinator of HYPREP in person of Dr. Marvin Dekil. Good to have you here.
Thank you so
morning.
much.
Good morning. How's it been?
It's been good. It's been good.
Moving around, taking care of issues and all that.
Absolutely. HYPREP, it's a project of the federal government, targeted, designed actually to remediate impacted sites.
Yes, yes.
It's designed and it was established to address the environmental concerns in the Niger Delta region.
Yeah.
But we are starting in Ogoni land.
Ogoni land.
We're starting in Ogoni land because there is a United Nations environment report on Ogoni land that's made very specific recommendations. A set of recommendations for government, set of recommendations for the IOCs, set of recommendations for the community, and the way forward. And so the government thought it wise and set up HYPREP to implement the report. It's important to note that this report was handed in 2011. 2011. And this is 2018.
Wow.
Okay, so
because there are issues, coming up.
It took the president, President Muhammad Buhari, during his campaign to visit Ogoni land, and he promised the people that if elected, he was going to implement the report. And that was in 2015. Obviously, it meant that a report submitted in 2011 that as 2015 was not implemented. And so as he came in, he actually made good his promise, and he went about launching the program. So the project was launched and went on to set on the governing structures. The governing structures of HYPREP are three. One is the Board of Trustees. Their job is to deal with funds. The Governing Council, they approve the policy and give direction to the project. And the project coordination office, where I'm head, they deal with we deal with the day-to-day implementation of the report. So now this is all in place. And as an office, the project coordination office came live only last year. So in April last year we came live and we set on doing the job. One of the key things we thought we should do was to address the emergency measures. If you look at the report, the set of recommendations for emergency measures deals with water. So we said about that process, and it deals with also healthcare. There need to be a health study to link, to create, to determine if there's a nexus between disease patterns as well as oil pollution. So that is something that we're looking at.
But the emergency measures, is it on progress? Is there a progress on it?
Certainly. One of the things we did at that point was to set up a four-man committee, one from each of the local government, and we went to do a water mapping. What that means is mapping all the water facilities in all the 4 LGAs. So currently we do have that database of all the facilities and their status as well. So we know those are working and those that are not working. Unfortunately, overwhelmingly they are not working. And so what we've done is that we started the procurement process because we're talking about public fund. And there's a law in Nigeria that governs the way you will spend public fund, and that is the Procurement Act. So you couldn't go about spending the money without going through due process, and that starts with the advert. We've advertised, and we've also received submissions from all the companies, and from companies now. We've done the evaluation. We just concluded that yesterday, and so we will be having those. That's for water. But before then, we did the same process to get the companies that would do that remediation. So we advertise, we also receive
These
submissions.
are all part of the process.
These are the processes in place, because there are processes you need to do before you could actually go to do what you're calling remediation.
Because is that why the people are saying that the process is really slow?
Well, like I said, there's a report that was submitted in 2011, and if you look at something submitted in 2011, and then it took this government to come in, and then last year we had a project coordination office starting to implement that. Yes, people are right to say it's been slow, because it's been several years this report was handed in. But this is the first time a genuine effort is on the way to addressing it.
Yeah, because you know that there was also this issue of if you're launching a project, HYPREP, before people thought that you're going to just go in, start remediation, restoration, and all of that. But over time, it has taken this long, and it's good you're here to tell the people more about that. What is really going on? Why? I think that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
Why the really slow pace of work?
Well, I guess again there needs to be some management of expectations, and depending on what you're looking out for, because when you're looking out for the wrong kind of thing, then you will think that nothing is happening.
Yeah.
Now, remediation is a technical process, and it's a process that starts with some assessment. So you need to go to whichever site that is impacted and study that site. You need to study the site geology. You need to study the extent, the nature of the contaminant in those sites, and you need to then come up with a plan to deal with it and come up with the best technologies. And now, what have we been doing? The reason we have the challenge here is that previously, there is an OSPO site, and then the way people know it is that you move bulldozers straight away.
Yeah.
Okay? And sorry, that's not the way it's done. Professional is never done that way. You need to take your time to do these studies which we are doing. You need to characterize the contaminant, the pollutant. You need to come up with the best options to remediate each of them. You may need to come with a combination of technology and methods to do it, and that you could only do through these studies that we're doing. So it is not that the process is slow, and like I tell you, for a project that started only last year, for an office that started only last year, and as of today, we have done a scoping, that's the desktop scoping, to identify all those sites. We have done training. I just was seeing your program, the training we did. And before that training, we did an earlier one where we got technical assistance. We've done demonstration work, so we've been to the site and we've done remediation by through voluntary companies. We have also done medical outreach. We reached out to about 20,000 patients. We attended to we carried out about 400 surgeries. This was only May this year. We also did the earlier version December last year. We have been doing sensitization. As I speak, up to now we have scientists in the field doing further delineation. Yes, so there is active work going on both on the technical side and the community engagement and consultation side. So we believe that with time people will understand what we are doing. It's our responsibility to educate people, to let them know what to look out for. Because obviously people are saying nothing is happening, perhaps because they are looking out for the things that we are not. That are not obviously we are
people will want to see
the professional way of doing this thing is the way we are going about it.
So you're trying to say now that the cleanup has actually started?
The process has started. What's going to happen is the procurement process that will select the companies, that's going to be concluded in September. So by October we should have the first set of companies on site doing the work. And so, but for you to get a company, like I said, there are processes both according to Nigerian procurement laws and as a technical process that we need to follow to get to that point.
Now, just for the record, let me ask, when will the remediation, all these things you've been talking about, process, the people want to know, when will it really start, the main thing? Is there a date to it?
Yeah, so the first set of companies that will do remediation, we should be having them deployed to the site around October. That's the last part of this year. You will see sites getting remediated.
Right?
It's a process that we started. We have the roadmap to it. It's all designed, it's all laid out. So we need to talk to you some more, and you need to help us too.
We're here.
We could communicate, because I think there is a gap in what we are doing and what is being communicated out, and you could help us fill that gap.
Well, we're here to do that.
Thank you.
So what other things have you really achieved since you came on board? Because people like to see, something. When they see, they now believe.
Well, like I said, we did. We consider and we take community involvement in the project very seriously. So our first set of technical assistants, these are people with master's degree and above in environmental science. We're sourced from the local community. We train these people. We give them skills, expertise in remediation, in sampling. These are the core skills that we're going to be needing going forward. And we did further ones along with NDDC recently, where we added some more to that. So we have developed the manpower, the technical skill that
has been taken care of.
Exactly, that we need to do that. We've also gone on to take the first step towards a health impact study. And how did we do that? We launched the health outreach that served two things for us. It provided health services to the people, It also gave us the initial data. We gathered the initial data about patients living in these places. So we have the history of each of these patients, and we have that database. It is the initial step to gathering the data that we will need for the health impact study. And again, like I explained, we have been in the field, currently in the field, to delineating, preparing the site. For you to hit the site, you need to do two sets of preparation. The community engagement part of it, to prepare the community for it, and then the technical preparation, taking the baseline of the data, of the parameters that you want to use. So that's what we've been doing. And that process is ongoing.
Ongoing?
It is. Yes.
I think that is what most parents are like, ongoing. That's becoming an issue now, ongoing.
Well,
they want to see.
It's ongoing because, and there are timelines for it. So it's not like it's indefinite. No, there are timeline, and at the end of it, we conclude that we take the next phase. So what we need to do is stay engaged, so you know where we are, what stage we are when we terminate one stage and we start the other one.
Okay, talking about what stage you are from now. What are we going to be expecting in a couple of months ahead? So in a couple of months ahead, you're going to be seeing the companies, what you've been expecting. Companies sitting, you're going to be seeing that in a couple of months. Okay, and that's a good one.
Yeah, you're also going to see there's another angle to this. Look at your livelihood, another mandate of HYPREP livelihood, which is giving people new skills, new means of living. People whose farmlands were destroyed by impact, oil spills. People who could no longer fish as a result of that. Young people who knew the skills. So we have an MOU signed again with UNITA. UNITA is a training arm of the United Nations. And what have we done? We sat with them. They are developing the curriculum and also the skills, the training that is going. So we're going to be seeing training for the youths, training for the women, which is also in the pipeline. We are discussing that. As a matter of fact, very soon we will have that training commence. Then we have things to do with developing capacity. We're also looking at
developing capacity. How
capacity in terms of, again, economic empowerment, as well as on the technical side. So we're looking at those two. More recently, we've been engaging with the community, and I want to use this opportunity again to thank the people for their hospitality. We had land donated from different kings across the land. Yes, and that you couldn't show any more support and encouragement for a project than this, where the palace of the Banga King, Mene Banga and Swan King, Swan gave us land. GNK His Majesty gave us land. Chief Baby Opabe gave us land. We have land donated even in Bukana for different purposes. The land that we're also using for the integrated soil management center was donated, and the River State government also gave us some land. So we have a pool of goodwill we're drawing from, and we're engaging the community and actually giving ownership of this project to the community, because ultimately this whole thing was designed to give back to the community and to address the concerns, which is what this project's about.
Okay, you are really resilient and everybody is really doing his or her own to make it work. But do you think federal government is also putting as much effort as you are doing?
Are you having, is there support?
The project is a federal government project. I'm sitting here talking for the federal government. And I'm telling you the thing, government...
you know why? Let me put it, you know why? Because most times people always say that when federal government they start a thing, it comes halfway and that is it. That's like the normal opinion of people.
Okay, let me tell you how this started.
Okay.
This project was previously with the Ministry of Petroleum Resources. That's where HYPREP got from HYPREP. Now, the present government, President Buhari, thought it wise that the right ministry that should handle environmental affairs is the Federal Ministry of Environment.
That's right.
So that meant that we needed to move the project from petroleum. That meant that we had to review the Gazette. The Gazette is the governing document So that Gazette had to be reviewed in a way that strengthens the project and allow for transparency. Reviewed in a way that now allowed for the governing structures to be included. Before now, there were no governing structures. And the role of the governing structure is to separate the roles of each of the project and to ensure that there is transparency. So I, as project coordinator, I couldn't just say I need 10 naira and I'm just going to pick 10 naira and start using it. For me to get 10 naira, I will have to go to the governing council and say, sorry, I need 10 naira. And these are the things. They now ask me, what do you need 10 naira for? and they say, okay, I want to buy shoes, I want to buy what? Okay, why do you need 10 shoes and not 2 shoes?
Okay.
And then they make those remarks and say, okay, we are going to let you have 1 shoe. They will then inform the board of trustees, please give to him money for 1 shoe.
Okay.
Before I get money for 1 shoe.
Okay.
And that is transparency, that's accountability. So that's what the federal government did, to ensure that the project is sustainable. And it is also in a way that is immune. There are governing council members, there are BOT members drawn from the oil companies, drawn from the government, and drawn from the community with fixed tenure.
Wow.
So what that means is that if there was political transition, these tenures are protected.
Okay.
And so that also insulates the project and its operation from political transitions. So these are the kind of commitment the government has given. And more recently, the federal government, the vice president, witnessed the opening of the escrow accounts. The escrow account is that account that we will use to receive the money from the oil companies and other people who bring in money. And that was done at the highest level of government. So we are also looking at issues to do with how much government has continually engaged with this. Very frequently, we meet at the level of the vice president, who has the responsibility of overseeing the Niger Delta. We meet and we give him updates on where we are. So federal government is continually monitoring and ensuring that things are done properly. So that's the level of commitment.
Okay. Talking about transparency, let me ask you something kind of dicey anyway. There's been this report, which I don't know how true it is. I think it's good you're here to tell us that there was an investment from Shell for $10 million, and to invest in the project. And do you think that there's an equal measurement of work, when compared to that investment? That is, if there was anything like that.
Okay, what it is I think you're referring to the takeoff grant.
Yes.
The money was handed to the BOT.
Okay.
And like I said, the BOT manages our finances very transparently. Okay. So now we have a project office.
Okay.
There are activities I've listed will be made.
Okay.
So some of that money has been used for all of this within.
Okay.
The one that's not been used is held accountable and is there safe with the BOT. Okay. So whoever is interested in our books could always approach
go and check.
They would tell you what they've disbursed to the project coordination office and what is the change. And so there are no issues with transparency and accountability with this project. But I think there has been some attempt to make it look like one person could sit down and use money. No one person could sit down and utilize the money for HYPREP, because the structure is done to be independent and transparent. So yes, such money was given. It is to the BOT. We have received the bit we use for our work. All of such accounts is being forwarded. The BOT has a complete record and account of that money.
Okay.
All right, from your expressions, it's obvious that the local communities are very, very supportive. Now a step away from that is the international community. What role do they play in the course of these projects?
A very huge role, a huge role. I have received, visiting our office in Port Harcourt, about 5 ambassadors. We've had the UN resident coordinator in Nigeria visit us, and they've been gone to the field along with us. We've had the Norwegian ambassador going with us to the field as well. And so what that means is that the international community is very engaged. And it's important to know that the British government particularly, they've given us like 5 consultants. These are embedded in our project as consultants with us. They are the one helping us looking to the field. When we go to the field, we've got such expertise in the environment, in health, and in communication from the British government, courtesy of the British Department of Foreign and International Development through Foster. So this is the level of commitment we're getting, and we continue to engage with them. We're getting good support from the community.
Okay, before we wrap up, we want to really appreciate you for the information that you've updated us with. Just some words of hope. So, quote and unquote, words of hope to the Ogoni people, and I believe that this project is supposed to extend to the Niger Delta at large. A message of hope to them, especially because about the issue of slow pace of work, which you have clarified. What is your message of hope to them and people out there?
Well, the message for Ogoni people is that the project is firmly on course.
Okay.
Every money allocated for this project will be utilized judiciously, and is being utilized judiciously. This project will bring maximum benefit to the Ogoni people, and they should stay engaged. We are happy. We appreciate them for their support, and we will continue to work closely until every land, every impacted site in the place is polluted, that was polluted, is cleaned up. And please, last quarter of this year, you're seeing the first set of companies coming to clean the impacted sites.
We're going to hold it, right?
We're working on it.
Seriously, we are.
So that is the true situation.
Okay.
We're working according to the plan.
Okay, everyone, we've been speaking with Dr. Marvin Dekil. He is the project coordinator, HYPREP. We've heard it all we can, ask for and pray for is just for more grace, more support,
yes.
especially from the media. Always count on us, and we'll be there to help you.
Yes,
right?
and God willing.
Yeah.
All our blessings.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Okay, everyone, the program is still Garden City Rendezvous. Up next, we have this beautiful report on Rotary. Let's get to know what they are up to. We'll be right back.